Creating an LLC gives you liability protection and a number of tax benefits. But how exactly should you go about actually creating your LLC? Do you need to pay a lawyer or a CPA thousands of dollars? Do you need to use some type of entity formation service? Do you need a registered agent? What is a registered agent? What state should you form your LLC in? And so on. Well, if you're thinking through any of this, I'm about to give you a step-by-step guide on how you can do this 100% by yourself without spending more money than you actually have to. Now, as a licensed CPA that tax plans every day at mycpacoach.com, I typically use LLCs to change how my clients are actually taxed on their business income. For example, one of the largest tax benefits of creating an LLC is the ability to choose how your LLC is taxed. It can be taxed as an S corporation, a C corporation, or a disregarded entity. And each of those options can have a dramatic impact on your tax liability, which means picking the wrong one could literally cost you thousands of dollars in extra taxes. Plus, we can't forget the primary reason why people set up LLCs in the first place: to protect their personal assets in the event of a business liability. This is why people place their rental properties in an LLC, their investments, their business ventures, and so on, to separate the liability associated with those ventures and to limit their legal risk. But regardless of why you need to set up an LLC right now, it is always a good skill to know how to create an LLC when you need to and how to do that cost effectively. So let's go over the steps to do this in the easiest way possible. Okay, so a lot of people do not know this, but forming an LLC is really as simple as filling out a very short application. In most states, all you have to do is go to your Secretary of State's website and follow their instructions to register an LLC in their state. And in most cases, you can do this online in just a few minutes. You can literally do this without hiring an expensive CPA, a lawyer, or paying some type of entity creation service to help you. No, you don't need that. You can do this right on the Secretary of State's website, or there's even vendors that will do this for you for free, which I will link in the description below. But before you do any of that, there is some key information that you will need to determine before registering your LLC, and those determinations may impact how you actually go about creating it, where you create it, and if you need additional services and so on. So let's carefully walk through this and do this correctly. Step number one, choose the best state to create your LLC. Now, 90% of the time, it is best to form your LLC in the state where your business operates. This is because most states require businesses to register in the state where they conduct business. And it's even better if that just so happens to be the state that you live in, because that will simplify your taxes and your annual filing requirements. For example, most LLCs are taxed as pass-through entities, meaning that 100% of their business income is not taxed at the entity level, but instead it passes through to the owners of the LLC, and they report their share of that income on their personal tax return. So for instance, let's say you live in California, but someone told you to create an LLC in Wyoming because they have no state income tax. Well, even though that may be the case, if you are taxed as a pass-through entity, that would not matter at all, because all of that income would be taxed to you personally based on where you personally live. And if that just so happens to be California, then you would still be subject to California income tax on your personal tax return. Now, with that said, there are legitimate reasons for forming an LLC in other states, such as privacy protections. For example, states like Wyoming, Delaware, and Nevada do not require disclosure of the owners of an LLC, whereas in most states, that information is publicly available for everyone to see. So in situations where the owners of the LLC want to remain anonymous, they may form their LLC in another state like this, but generally, it is still best to form your LLC in the state you conduct your business. Step number two, choose a name for your LLC. Now, the name you choose for your LLC must be unique and not already in use in your state. Now, to check this, all you have to do is go to your Secretary of State's website and search the business name you have in mind. But outside of choosing a unique name for your LLC, you also want to choose a marketable name that ideally reflects the nature of your business. Plus, to add to that, your state may also require you to include certain designations in your business name, such as LLC or limited liability company in it, so be sure to check those requirements as well. Step number 3, appoint a registered agent for your LLC. Now, not only do most states require this, but there are some very important considerations that you need to think through as it relates to your privacy. So let's talk about some general best practices. Now, a registered agent is simply a person or entity that is authorized to accept legal documents on behalf of your LLC. And to qualify as a registered agent, you typically just have to have a physical address in the state where you are forming the LLC. Now, with that said, if you want to, you can personally serve as your own registered agent. But let me warn you, if you do, your information will become public record, meaning your personal name and the provided physical address will be publicly available, which may pose privacy issues for some individuals. Now, if you want more privacy protection for your LLC, then you can simply use a third-party service for this to keep your personal information private. And I will include some of my go-to vendors for you in the description below if you're interested in that. Step number 4, file your articles of organization. Now, this is a legal document that officially registers your business as an LLC in your state. And most states provide a standard form for you to complete when registering your LLC. Now, typically, this form requires you to provide very basic information associated with your LLC, like the name, the address, the business purpose of the LLC, how it is managed, and the organizer of the LLC. Now let's talk about the organizer here for a second here, because this may also present a privacy issue for people who are concerned about that. So basically, the person who registers your LLC will be listed as the organizer. And if that's you, that means that your name will be public record in the association with the LLC, which also means that someone could simply search your personal name and see all of the LLCs you own if you are listed as the organizer. So if you do not want that level of visibility, then you can just have a third party act as the organizer for your LLC, and many registered agents provide this level of service. So if you value this, you can have all of this done with one of the options that I linked for you in the description below. But if you don't care about that, then no problem. You can just continue to proceed with your LLC filing here. So let's move on to step number 5, create your operating agreement. Now, this is usually a private document, so we're good on privacy here, and it outlines how your business is structured and how it operates. Now, some states mandate that you have this agreement in place and some do not, but in either case, it's typically recommended for you to have to prevent legal issues that may come up as it relates to your LLC. So let's talk about this document. It typically outlines the ownership structure of the LLC, who owns it, who manages it, and how profit and losses are distributed, and so on. Now, if you are creating a single member LLC, or in other words, you own 100% of the company and no one else, then this may be a very straightforward and simple document. However, if you have a multi-member LLC, or in other words, you have partners, then you should carefully consider the terms that you include in your operating agreement. For example, you may want to include clauses around what happens when disputes arise amongst partners. What happens if a partner wants to quit while someone else carries the burden of the business? Or what happens if someone dies or becomes disabled, and so on. In many ways, forming a partnership is like going into a marriage, and it is extremely important for you to have agreements like this in place up front to prevent future issues that could arise in the future. So be sure to carefully create this document and seek legal advice from a professional in the event that you need it. Step number 6, submit your LLC registration. Now, there's still a little bit more that we need to do here, but at this point, you should have enough information to submit your LLC registration either directly through your Secretary of State's website or through one of the free vendors that I've linked for you in the description below. Now, most states do charge a small filing fee, which could be as little as $50 or as high as $500, depending on the state that you are registering in. So creating an LLC is not free in that sense, but you can avoid a lot of the other costs if you decide that you do not need some of those additional services that we have discussed so far. Anyway, once you have submitted your LLC registration, there is still more steps that you need to take to ensure that you do not lose your legal protection or your tax benefits. So let's quickly go over those things. Step number 7, obtain an employer identification number or EIN. Now, this is like a social security number for your LLC. It is just a unique number that is specific to the LLC that you have created. Now, to obtain this, you can apply for one for free right on the IRS's website. So you don't need to pay someone to do this, but I'll include that link for you in the description as well. But basically, you would need to apply for this once you have received confirmation that your LLC has been officially registered with your state. And from there, you will include this number when filing your LLC tax returns and making elections and so on. Step number 8, make your LLC tax election with the IRS. Okay, so like I mentioned to you at the beginning of this video, one of the largest tax benefits of having an LLC is the ability to choose how you want it to be taxed. And you have 75 days from the date your LLC was officially formed to elect how you want it to be taxed. And it can be taxed as a disregarded entity, an S corporation, or a C corporation. Now, by default, your LLC will be taxed as a disregarded entity, which is usually best if your business is not currently earning any income, or you're not expecting to earn more than maybe $50,000 in profits from the business in the upcoming year. But if you are, then switching your entity tax classification can be largely beneficial and could save you thousands of dollars in taxes depending on how much income you actually earn. However, if you do change your entity's tax classification, you should also make yourself aware of all of the rules and requirements and tax forms associated with that entity. So make sure you subscribe to learn more about that or consult a CPA if you need to. Step number 9, open a business bank account. Okay, so as basic as this sounds, this is extremely important for both legal and tax reasons. So first of all, you can lose your liability protection for your personal assets if you mix those assets with the assets of your business. So to prevent this, you should create a business bank account to avoid commingling your personal and business assets for this reason alone. Plus, to add to that, from a tax perspective, you want to have clean business records. If your name is called for an IRS audit, the last thing you want to show them are personal expenses mixed in with your business records. If the IRS determines that you are commingling personal and business funds, then they may disallow some of your deductions altogether and leave you with a potentially higher tax bill, usually including interest and penalties. So do yourself a favor and open up a business bank account with whichever bank that you're the most comfortable with. Most of the major banks allow business checking accounts and even can extend you with additional resources like financing in the event that you need it. Step number 10, maintain LLC compliance. So the last thing you need to do here, once your LLC is formed, is to keep it in good standing. From a legal standpoint, most LLCs are required to file annual reports with their state to renew their registration. And if you miss those filings, your LLC could expire and be dissolved by the state, resulting in the loss of all of the legal protection and tax benefits that we've talked about. So make sure you keep up with your annual filings. Secondly, from a tax standpoint, you are generally required to file a tax return for your LLC if it earns income. And those filings vary based on the type of income you earn and the type of LLC you own. Generally, single member LLCs report their business income on Schedule C of their personal return, which is due by April 15th of each year. Multi-member LLCs must file Form 1065, which is due on March 15th. Or if your LLC is taxed as an S corporation or C corporation, you have to file either 1120S or Form 1120 by March 15th as well. Now, missing any one of these filing requirements can result, again, in massive penalties, interest, and a number of other issues that could jeopardize your LLC. But if you can just follow the steps that I provided to you, you will be able to enjoy the additional legal protection and tax benefits that these LLCs provide. Drop a comment below and let me know what you think about this. And if you currently pay a lot of taxes and want immediate assistance to reduce it, just apply to work with one of my CPAs today at mycpacoach.com.